Hi, this is Cheryl with Hirsch Parent Coaching. For those of you who may not be aware, I have started a newsletter called The Parent Brief. I just put out my third edition that's monthly, and I'm really proud of it and would love to spread the news about it. If you're interested in subscribing, it's real easy. You go to my website and there's a subscribe button. Or if you want me to add you, let me know. It is very brief, hence the title, Parent Brief, and it has some parenting tips and also just something I love and something worth sharing. So it is short because I know it's hard to inundate your inbox with more things to read and take care of, but it's really good, and I would love for you to subscribe or pass the word along. So today what I'm talking about is difficult conversations with your child about scary or really disturbing events. It's always happening in the news where this information gets distributed time and time again. But I thought it was worthwhile to share these pointers, so should this situation arise, that you'll have these in the back of your mind. So when something scary has happened in the news, it really doesn't matter what age. I think some of these tips are good for us as well. Just some things to think about. And these are in my most current edition of my newsletter. So one, overall, limit exposure to the news, especially for little ones. We often don't realize how much they are being exposed to. And often, and this is not a good idea in the best of circumstances, is just to leave the TV on in the background. There's research out there that says that is not good for our children, much less when there is difficult news circulating. So just be aware about the exposure that you want your children to have and have it be intentional so that they are not being exposed to things that you have no idea they're being exposed to. Number two, if a child comes to you, asks a question, you want to answer according to what they want to know and to their developmental age. So what I advise and other experts advise is to ask them a question. Well, what do you already know about that? Or what do you think? What have you heard? And that way, by gathering more information from them, you will be very clear about what they're asking, and then you can answer appropriately. And I'd always start with less information than more. And again, oftentimes young kids will just absorb what they actually understand. But do think about that. Three, give the facts and context. So not always, but oftentimes events are far away. And on the news, it can say breaking news, and it seems very scary, and sometimes it actually is. But you can actually show them on a map how far away it is, so they can realize that it's not close by, that these events are rare, and also explain that the news picks up stories that don't happen all the time. These are new things, and yes, many of them are scary, but they don't usually share on the news things that happen all the time. So by just contextualizing, giving some simple facts, this is really helpful to the children. You do not want to overload them. 4, be honest when they ask why without labeling people, because oftentimes we don't know why things happen or why someone did the act that they did. But do be careful not to say, well, there are bad people out there, and do generalizations. Bad people, all people. Be more specific. And just be honest that we don't always know. Sometimes people aren't well. Sometimes they've had bad upbringings and didn't get the help they needed. All sorts of different things. But again, don't generalize. And it's okay to say that you don't really know, because most times we don't. So be honest and say we just really don't know, and we're all grappling with that. 4, this is really important. Point out all the helpers. Mr. Rogers said this. So point out to them who were the heroes, who were the helpers, and what did people do. So we want to point out the goodness. And number 5 is become a helper yourself. If there is a way to get involved in a healthy way in helping the community or your family in any way, we want to become the helpers. And again, this really helps our children overcome difficult situations. So to summarize, and again, I got most of these off of Life Kit. They do a wonderful, wonderful podcast throughout my years in the schools. These tips circulated regularly. You can easily Google, but here, just some easy things to keep in mind. Tip number 1, limit exposure to the news. 2, answer kids' questions by asking them a question to get clarification about what you really need to say. Tip number 3, give the facts in context without overloading. And 4, be honest when they ask why something happened without labeling groups of people. It's okay to say that you don't know, you're not sure. Tip number 5, point out the helpers and heroes. That's always really important to remember, that there are good people out there. I think we all need to remember that most people are really good. And number 6, become a helper yourself. So hopefully there won't be another tragedy or horrible thing anytime soon, but just in case there is, you can use this as a resource and hope it helps you a lot in these difficult situations. So again, this is Cheryl with Hirsch Parent Coaching. I would love for you to subscribe to my newsletter. Please share this post. Really helps me spread the word. So have a very good rest of your day.